you do eventually colonize Mars, what's the idea in terms of terraforming? Is it contained ecosystems that are under domes? Like what are you planning on doing to make it habitable?
Well, at first, you would have to have a life support system um, because Mars has a low density atmosphere, only about 1% the density of Earth, and it's primarily CO2. Um, Now, over time, you can terraform Mars. Terraform means make it like Earth, essentially. Um, and if you warm Mars up, you will there's a bunch of frozen CO2 that will evaporate, densify the atmosphere, and you'd actually want kind of global warming on Mars because
Mm.
Mars is about 50% further away from the sun than the Earth. So it gets about less than half the solar energy that Earth does.
And it's believed at one point in time Mars had a much different environment, right?
It appears highly likely that Mars had liquid oceans, albeit a long time ago.
And do,
There's a lot of ice, so Mars is covered in ice, and now the ice is then covered in dust for the mostly, except at the poles.
and when we eventually do, I mean, how bizarre! Imagine if you're successful, we eventually do colonize Mars, and you're correct. Earth winds up through human folly or natural disaster getting wiped out, and there's only the colony on Mars, and that colony exists for 10, 20,000 years, and they have their origin myth that we all came from Earth. I mean, ultimately, that's going. If this does happen, and you do colonize Mars, and Earth does get destroyed, and if there a period of time takes place, like look at the period, like at least the conventional timeline of the Great Pyramid, which is 4,500 years ago.
5,000 years.
Yeah, so that's not that much time.
It's not that much time.
No, I mean
It's nothing on the galactic time scale.
right. So if we're talking 20, 30,000 years from now on Mars, and people talk about Times Square and what Earth used to be
Wow.
like.